Sometimes, gratitude feels like a heavy stone we are told to carry. People say, "Be grateful," as if it were simple, as if gratitude were a switch we could turn on. But life does not always allow that. When we are hurt, tired, or lonely, those words can sound almost cruel. Gratitude, in such moments, feels far away, like sunlight on the other side of a closed door. There is a quiet pressure in modern life to be positive. We are surrounded by messages telling us to count our blessings and focus on the good. These ideas sound kind, but when the heart is aching, they can make us feel small, even guilty, for not being able to smile. We start to think something is wrong with us because gratitude does not come easily. But what if gratitude is not something we force? What if it is not a demand, but an invitation? Like the seasons, gratitude has its time to arrive. It cannot be commanded. It grows naturally when the soil of our heart is ready. When we are suffering, that soil may be cold and hard, and that is okay. True gratitude is not about pretending to be fine. It begins with seeing our reality clearly, without judgment. We can whisper to ourselves, "Right now, gratitude feels difficult." In that honest moment, we stop fighting ourselves. Slowly, a softer understanding begins to form. Gratitude, then, is not a performance. It is a quiet truth that returns, little by little, when we are gentle enough to let it. There are days when life simply does not cooperate. Plans fall apart, relationships strain, health declines, and time moves in ways we cannot control. In those moments, someone might say, "Everything happens for a reason." But such words can sting when we are standing in the middle of pain. We may nod politely, yet inside we wonder what reason could possibly make sense of our suffering. It is natural to resist such times. The mind keeps asking, "Why me?" The heart looks for something to hold on to, some sign that all of this has meaning. But often there is only silence, and in that silence, gratitude feels impossible. We may even begin to resent the idea of it. Still, beneath that resistance, something quiet remains. Even when life feels unkind, the smallest details continue to exist. The steady breath, the morning light through the window, the sound of distant birds. These things may not erase the pain, but they remind us that the world has not disappeared. Life, in its own way, keeps whispering, "I am still here." When we stop trying to force comfort and simply notice this small truth, the edge of our suffering softens a little. We do not need to find a lesson or a reason. Sometimes the only thing we can do is to see that we are still breathing. That seeing, gentle and unplanned, becomes the first seed of a new kind of gratitude. Not for what happened, but for the simple fact that we are still alive to witness it. There are moments when we say thank you, but the words feel false. Perhaps someone expects us to be grateful for advice we did not ask for, or for a situation that brought us pain. We speak politely, because that is what is expected. Yet deep inside, a quiet anger rises. It says, "Why should I be thankful for this?" This hidden anger is not a sign of failure. It is a part of being human. When gratitude is spoken too early, before the heart has healed, it becomes a mask. We wear it to appear calm or wise, but the wound beneath still bleeds. Real gratitude cannot grow in the shadow of unspoken pain. Instead of pushing that anger away, we can learn to listen to it gently. It is the voice of a heart that feels unseen or misunderstood. When we allow ourselves to feel it fully, without judgment, it begins to soften. The anger is not an enemy of gratitude. It is a message that something within us needs care. We may discover that what we truly need in that moment is not gratitude, but understanding. We may need to rest, to cry, or simply to admit, "This still hurts." Only after that truth is spoken can gratitude find its way back naturally. Like clear water returning after a storm, it flows quietly, without force. True thankfulness is never built on denial. It is born when honesty and acceptance meet. Sometimes we know we should be grateful, yet the feeling does not come. The mind repeats familiar phrases. I'm lucky. Others have it worse. I should be thankful. But inside, there is only emptiness. The distance between what we say and what we feel grows wider, and that gap can be painful. We might even feel ashamed, wondering why our heart will not follow our thoughts. This gap is not a failure of character. It is a natural part of human experience. The heart moves at a slower rhythm than the mind. It needs time to catch up, to make sense of what life has brought us. Sometimes the mind rushes to be good, while the heart is still standing in the ashes of what was lost. When we notice this difference, we can stop trying to force unity. Instead, we can allow both to exist, the mind that understands gratitude and the heart that is not yet ready. Both are telling the truth in their own way. We do not need to pretend that the heart feels light when it is still heavy. In quiet moments, when we breathe and listen inwardly, that space between mind and heart becomes softer. The two are no longer fighting, they are simply resting side by side. And from that stillness, a small warmth begins to rise. Not dramatic, not loud, but real. It is the beginning of a gratitude that is honest, one that comes not from effort, but from peace. There is a strange freedom in saying, I am not okay. Many of us were taught to hide our struggles, to smile even when the heart is breaking. We fear that showing pain means weakness, or that others will turn away. Yet when we quietly admit our pain, even just to ourselves, something inside begins to breathe again. To acknowledge suffering is not to drown in it. It is to see it clearly, without pretending. Like standing at the edge of a river, we watch our pain flow by instead of trying to dam it up. It moves, slowly, because we have given it permission to exist. The moment we stop running from it, the burden grows lighter. Gratitude cannot live in denial. When we hide our pain, we also hide the possibility of healing. But when we tell ourselves the truth, this hurts, and I don't have to fix it right now, we create space inside. In that space, the heart can begin to rest. Sometimes, the most honest prayer is not thank you, but please help me understand. And sometimes, no words are needed at all. Just sitting with our sorrow, allowing it to be part of us, is an act of courage. Over time, that courage turns into something gentle. We begin to see that pain and gratitude are not enemies. They are two threads in the same cloth of being alive, each giving meaning to the other, each teaching us how to be fully human. There is a quiet strength in allowing life to be exactly as it is, without needing to label it as good or bad. Sometimes, the effort to find something to be grateful for becomes another kind of struggle. We search our mind for reasons, we list things we should appreciate, but deep down, it feels hollow. Real peace does not come from trying to manufacture gratitude. It comes from releasing that pressure. When we stop demanding that our hearts feel thankful, we begin to notice something gentler. The world does not disappear just because our mood is dark. The air still moves through the trees. The light still shifts through the window. Life continues quietly, without asking us to be cheerful. In that stillness, peace appears. Not the peace of happiness, but the peace of simply being. We can sit in that space, not needing to change anything. The mind may still search for reasons, but the heart is allowed to rest. In that rest, something soft and real begins to grow. It is not the loud gratitude of celebration, but a quiet knowing. Even when I cannot say thank you, life is still here with me. This kind of peace does not erase sorrow. It holds it. It allows both pain and beauty to share the same room. And in that gentle coexistence, we may one day find that gratitude has returned. Not because we chased it, but because we finally stopped trying to. When gratitude finally returns, it rarely announces itself. It does not arrive like thunder or sunlight breaking through clouds. Instead, it comes quietly, like a small bird landing near us, testing the air before it sings. We may not even notice it at first. Only later do we realize that something inside feels lighter. This kind of gratitude is different from the one we tried to force. It is not an idea, not a duty, not a word repeated to sound kind. It grows naturally, like grass after rain. It often appears in the most ordinary moments, when we take a slow breath, when we see someone's gentle smile, when the sound of rain fills the room. Nothing special has changed, except that we are no longer fighting the moment. Genuine gratitude is not about ignoring sorrow, it grows from within it. We understand now that both can live together. The heart that has known pain becomes more spacious, more tender. It can hold both tears and appreciation without confusion. We no longer need to pretend that life is always good. We can simply say, "This is my life, and I can meet it as it is." In that acceptance, gratitude becomes quiet but unshakable. It does not depend on luck or comfort. It is the simple recognition that even after loss and disappointment, something beautiful still moves through us, something that asks for nothing, yet gives everything, the chance to be here, now. As we begin to see more clearly, the world reveals its quiet beauty. It does not shout or demand attention. It simply waits for us to notice. The sound of footsteps on a familiar street, the warmth of a cup held between our palms, the faint color of the sky before dawn. These are small, unremarkable things, yet they carry a deep peace when we truly see them. When life feels heavy, we often look for grand reasons to feel thankful. We think gratitude must come from big changes or clear blessings. But in truth, it is often found in the unnoticed corners of the day. The ordinary becomes sacred when the heart is no longer rushing past it. In these quiet moments, we remember that life is not measured by how much we achieve or control. It is measured by how deeply we experience what is already here. A single breath, a passing breeze, the sound of laughter from another room. All of it is enough. Nothing needs to be added, and nothing needs to be taken away. This awareness does not erase difficulty, it softens it. When we learn to rest our attention on what is simple and near, we discover that peace has always been close. Gratitude becomes less about saying thank you, and more about quietly recognizing the gentle miracle of being alive. And once we see life this way, even the most ordinary moment begins to shine. Life rarely stays neat. Even after we have found moments of peace, the tides of emotion return, joy one day, sorrow the next. We may think we have learned to be grateful, only to wake up angry or tired again. This does not mean we have failed. It simply means we are alive. The heart, by its nature, is untidy. To live with an open heart is to accept this movement. We do not need to fix every feeling or organize every thought. Gratitude is not meant to erase the mess of being human. It grows inside it. When the heart is open, even confusion and pain have a place to belong. We can say, "This too is part of me," without needing to make it pretty. In such openness, life becomes softer. We learn that it is possible to be grateful and sad at the same time, hopeful and weary in the same breath. We no longer chase after perfect emotions. We let the heart breathe as it is, sometimes full, sometimes empty, always changing. An untidy heart is not a broken one, It is a heart that has lived. Through every rise and fall, it continues to feel, to care, to respond. That is its beauty. Gratitude, when it lives here, is not fragile. It bends and trembles, yet it endures. And in its gentle, imperfect rhythm, we find the quiet wisdom of being human, complete, unpolished, and real. Gratitude is not a destination we finally reach. It is a way of walking through life. Some days, our steps are light and the path feels clear. Other days, the ground is uneven and our heart feels heavy. But each step, no matter how uncertain, is part of the same journey. Gratitude breathes with us. It expands and contracts, just like the rhythm of our lives. We do not have to be grateful all the time. What matters is the willingness to return, again and again, to the present moment, however it appears. In joy, in loss, in silence. Life continues to offer itself. And when we are ready, even for a brief second, we can see its quiet grace shining through everything. Perhaps this is what it truly means to live with gratitude. Not to hold on tightly to what we love, but to meet each moment with gentle attention. To say, yes, I see you, even when it hurts. To recognize that every breath, every connection, every sunrise and goodbye is part of the same sacred flow. Before I end, I want to offer my heartfelt thanks. To those who have watched these talks, shared your thoughts, left kind comments, or supported this channel through likes, membership, or super thanks, please know how deeply your presence is appreciated. Your quiet encouragement helps these words continue to find their way into the world. From my heart, thank you for walking this path together, one breath, one moment at a time.